All right. Hello. Is this working? This is working, right? Yeah. Okay. It's been a week since I made my last trade recap. Um I have no excuse. It's just a lot of shit's been going on. I mean, it's June. Um I've been pretty busy with school stuff and exams and shit like that. I didn't miss any trades. It's just I didn't get the time to do a recap or anything and upload it. But I have everything noted down and stuff. So, yeah. If you're looking at the top of my um the trade log, a little change, a little more losses and some more wins. And I added the break evens and I also didn't take a trade and stuff like that. Stats. Current win rate approximately 68%. It was at 75%, but bigger data batch. Um the last time I traded was 6 days. The last video I made was 6 days ago, and that was on. Hold up. That was May 30th. So I upload. I that wasn't the last trade. That was the trade recap video that I made. May 30th. It is currently June 6th. Yeah, basically a week ago. Um, so let me find the date. June May 30th, May 30th, May 30th, May 30th. Wait. Oh yeah, June 1st. So this was the Monday of the 1st of June, Monday. Trading day, first trading day of the month. And as you can see, this week has been absolutely shit. Um yeah, this week has been kind of ass. It's been kind of ass. I had some break evens in there, two losses, and then made it back this Friday. Um, yeah. Okay, so this is probably gonna be a long video because I'm going throughout the whole week. Like I'm recapping my whole week. Just because, like, I feel like I need to talk about it because these are my losses and this was a shit week and we're gonna go through it together. This week was also like not just me. Um, Most people it was kind of volatile, so it's mixed. Not everybody won, not everybody lost. So yeah, I might not remember every detail of what was going on through my head because yeah, it was a week ago, but I remember most of the stuff. Yeah, okay, so let's move to Monday Monday of this week. On my trade log, I went for a short. I have the screenshot here, but I'll switch over to trading view to show you guys that. I won a short, same as always, same amount of like position size, and I ended on break even, so I didn't really lose money. Let's move to. I can't show M and Q. I don't have trading replay, so yeah, I'm just gonna stay on ES. This is what it looked like on ES on the Monday. So when did we open? Okay, we opened right here. This white line is open. As you can see, I don't have my 4 hour and 1 hour marked out, but that's because the tool I use to mark that out is a horizontal ray, and that extends all the way past like infinitely, like on the charts, and it would mess up my lines and it would make it more cluttery. So I just removed them. But if I mean I could just show you on here. Where's 6 a.m. 6. Okay. So this would be the 4 hour high. right here, and think this would be the 4 hour low, or no, this would be the 4 hour low. Like somewhere over here, this would be the 4 hour low. This would be the range. Um, yeah. So, anyways, before we opened on it just dumped, made a 5 minute fair value gap. I think there was, I was looking at the 1 hour and 4 hour, and there was a 1 hour and 4 hour fair value gap. I don't remember if it was bearish or bullish right here. A bearish. It was a bearish fair value gap. Right here, and it tapped it, but once it dumped over here, I was kind of looking for longs because I was like, okay, it might go back up into this 5 minute fair value gap. So I was just looking for longs. As you could see, I was looking for longs. I marked out if I wanted to go long, um, that it would have to inverse the 5 minute fair value gap, which it did not. And I can't switch over to NQ, but this whole week, it's like ES and NQ switch places. Like my setups would have worked on NQ. Like right here, I know I took a short. NQ actually hit my TP. Like it didn't do this bullshit where it was cutting up. Like it went down before going up. ES was the one that was cutting up and accumulating like this. So yeah. If I was trading NQ, I would have hit TP. But it was ES, and I was watching NQ continue to go down. I was like, okay, it might go down now. It might hit my TP, but it didn't. Anyways, I was looking for longs on market open. It's risky. I took a lot of risks, like risky trades, and yeah, it wasn't good. But anyways, we came down, swept sell side liquidity, came up, sweep buy side. This could also be considered a buy side liquidity right here, and then BOS, but it didn't make a fair value gap. So this is a more trustworthy buy side liquidity sweep, because it's higher than this micro one. So anyways, sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity, and I was looking for a fair value gap to enter longs, but it didn't make that. It didn't make a fair value gap, and it also inversed this 1 minute fair value gap on pre-market. So at that point, I was like, okay, it's not really it doesn't really show enough momentum to inverse this 5 minute fair value gap. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna look for shorts now. So I marked out a buy side liquidity, which is right here, just right above the 5 minute. So if it did, like, if I wanted to go shorts, it would need to sweep that buy side liquidity, which means it would tap into the 5 minute fair value gap. And then if it doesn't inverse it, or if it doesn't go above this break of structure line, um, then I could confidently take the trade. Right here, it didn't go above this buy side liquidity, but it did sweep this buy side liquidity right here, the high of this, and it also made a rejection block. I can't switch time frames. This sucks because if I do, I'm gonna have to keep scrolling all the way back to this point in time on the chart, and I kind of don't even want to do that. But it did make a 5 minute rejection block, where there was I think a bullish candle, but with a long wick, and then a bearish candle that didn't close above the wick of the bullish candle, and then it just dumped straight down. So once it dumped straight down, I was like, well, it didn't dump straight down. Once it made the rejection block, I was like, okay, it had already hit my sweep my buy side liquidity, so that's one criteria, one checklist item that got checked. And there's a bunch of resistance on the upside. So I was like, even if it does go past this buy side liquidity, I don't think it's gonna inverse this 5 minute fair value gap. So, and then it came down, marked out my sell side liquidity, and then put a market structure shift uh level and as it came down, it did make a fair value gap, and I entered off of that fair value gap. It's a tiny fair value gap, and it did inverse it, but in the same, like, by the time I entered, it already inversed it again. So I just kept it there. I entered, and as it started going up, I was watching this the whole time in class, and low key, I was watching NQ. NQ was not doing any of this bullshit. It was actually like once it hit that rejection block, it dumped straight down. Um, ES started chopping up, like consolidating. What is this? So I also had trust in this rejection block. So once it tapped that, look how close it was to edging my stop loss. It was right there. If I was actually being smart, I would have moved my stop loss, or at least entered with a stop loss on the 5 minute fair value gap, but I didn't do that. Because it was already so low, and I saw NQ dumping down. So anyways, I entered. It went up, came back down. Right here, I was like a little confident that it was gonna just dump, and it didn't. Um, there was a 5 minute fair value gap that was made right here. It inversed it and inversed it again. It didn't respect it. So, well, it did respect it actually. Hold up, it didn't inverse it. It came down and bounced off up. In general, this day was ass. I mean, it was consolidating. So, anyways, right here, um, I kind of just exited break even. I didn't even wait for it to go until 12:30, because look what happened. Inverse the 5 minute and just shot up and made a new all-time high. So I didn't even a good thing that I broke even, so I didn't lose any money. That's what happened on Monday. It was shit, so whatever. Next Tuesday. This is Tuesday. This is Tuesday. Okay. This was first loss of the week. I was on a winning streak before this week, and yeah. So it made a new all-time high Monday. Came down. I think this was a 1 hour or 4 hour. I should really start marking my fair value gaps. This was either 1 hour or 4 hour. It looks like a 1 hour. Looks like a 1 hour fair value gap to the downside. But anyways, uh, I had everything marked out, like key levels and stuff, and it didn't. I deleted it because it would clutter everything. Um, again, I'll just find the 6 a.m. 4 hour candle. Okay, so this would basically be the low, right here, or I think it was right here because I got on the charts around 8:55. So this would be the low, 4 hour low, previous low, and then 4 hour high right here. And it actually swept below the 4 hour low, but that was on pre-market, and um it was on pre-market, so I can't, like, it also didn't fit my criteria that much. I mean, it did sweep the 4 hour low, but it didn't come back and sweep a sell side liquidity. Like, if it came down and swept here, I would have probably went long on market open, but it didn't. It tapped into a 1 hour bullish fair value gap after hitting a bearish 4 hour. Came down and it went up. I was looking for a short. So once it went up, inversed, I was like, okay, this is good. This is going up. So I'll just wait until it clears the 4 hour previous high, and then look for a short. So I'm pretty sure. I think I'm pretty sure it swept sell side liquidity, and I was kind of looking for a short on the between the 9 and 10 a.m. range, just because I was like, okay, it doesn't look like it's gonna go any higher, and it's close to sweeping a 4 hour previous low, so I'm just gonna probably take the short. But it didn't fit my criteria. Like, it did a liquidity sweep, made a sweep sell side buy side liquidity, came down, came down, sweep sell side liquidity, and then on this candle right here, I'm pretty sure I had my market structure shift. It was either like around right here, because this is also a fair value gap. So I was like, okay, if it closes under that market structure shift level, it will probably make another bearish candle, and then this would have been the fair value gap that I would have entered off of. It didn't do that. It shot up higher, so I was just watching. So I kept marking it out, and about right here, um, sweep buy side liquidity, and I think at this point it also swept the previous high for our previous high level. So sweep buy side liquidity. This candle was showing high resistance to the upside. Um, Came down, sweep sell side liquidity around right here. This would also be a sell side liquidity sweep, and then this was I think 3 minute fair value gap that I put my market structure shift level on, which it did inverse. It did inverse it, and then it made another fair value gap. So basically a 3 minute fair value gap right here, where I entered, and I don't know what the fuck this is. So it just shot straight up, like it inversed this fair value gap again, went up, and this, yeah, I don't know. But the crazy thing is, it didn't actually sweep all time highs, and it was also we opened so low from all time highs, so I was just like, well, it's not that far away, but basically I was just looking for shorts. It was a bearish like news day, and I was like, you know what? Let me just like take a short. So, anyways, it didn't take the short. And also, I'm kind of an idiot because once it entered this 1 hour bullish fair value gap, I was like, okay, it entered it, but it didn't enter into the midway. So I think it's gonna retrace and come and hit the midway before jumping up, but it didn't. It just bull run. Yeah, and then it didn't close above the all time high. So that was my first 150 loss in a while. I was on a win streak. So that's that. And then yeah, that was Tuesday. So now we're moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was technical too, and I lost. Did I lose Wednesday or did I? Okay, I went break even on Wednesday. Um, yeah, it just came down from all time highs, and I think where's the 4 hour? Where is the 6 hour? Okay, so this would have been the high for the 6 hour previous key level, and then this would have been the low. So on pre-market, it actually swept the low, and it made a bearish SMT. And in the moment, this actually like in the moment, I think this was a bullish 4 hour fair value gap. This one right here. So I think I missed the fact that it inversed the fair value gap into a bearish fair value gap. I missed this part. So anyways, I was looking for longs, as you can see. It sweeps it swept liquidity right here. This was a liquidity sweep. I was like, okay, it's under the 4 hour previous low. This looks like an A plus setup for me. Um, and then sweep sell side, and right here it just dumped. Like it just dumped. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna enter this trade even though it's dumping. I'm not gonna enter this trade. I'll just wait for the move to end because anyways, I trade on the 10 minute. I mean 10 a.m. range. Like that's my ideal range for a reversal. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait for the move down to end, and if it doesn't end by 10 a.m. or if it doesn't end by 11 and I don't find a setup for bull, I'm just not gonna trade. But I did find a setup. Like it was a sharp reversal to the upside. I'm oops. I'm gonna call it a reversal because it actually did go up like significantly, but it just entered another bearish fair value gap, and I kind of was hoping for it to inverse this fair value gap. I guess it didn't. There was a lot of resistance to the upside. That's my mistake. Like once you see something like this, you never know if it's gonna inverse the fair value gaps or if it's just gonna bounce off of it. So The only reason I took a long trade was because of this move right here. Like this show, it made a 5 minute rejection block. That's I look for rejection blocks on the 5 minute or any key time frame higher, because it's better than looking for a rejection block on the lower time frames, because they're usually a fake out. I trust the 5 minute a lot. Like the 5 minute time frame when I'm and entering on the 1 minute, the 5 minute is like to me the best time frame if you want to look at your confluences, like rejection blocks, order blocks, and fair value gaps. Yeah, but I look at 3 minute and 2 minute for those fair value gaps because I'm position entering, like literally like silver bullet entering. So 5 minute, I don't really look at fair value gaps unless pre-market has 5 minute fair value gaps and stuff like that. And it's not clear on the 1 minute. So, anyways, I see my setup pull up right here. Um, Sweep sell side liquidity, made a rejection block, blah blah blah, and this I think was an SMT or something. I don't know. I forgot. And then came up, made a fair value gap right here. Sweep buy side liquidity right here or right here. I had it a little higher because this was a fair value gap, and it actually inversed the fair value up and jumped. Um, but I was looking for more confluences, like more um momentum to the upside, and not micro confluences. I was looking for like actual key levels on this downtrend to get hit and inversed for me to take the trade. That's why I have my break of structure higher, because this was I think 3 minute or 5 minute fair value gap that I wanted inversed, and I have my buy side liquidity a little higher above the fair value gap to see, okay, it inversed it and made a inverse fair value gap. It tapped the inverse fair value gap, went up. I think I messed up right here, or I don't think I messed up actually. Um, it swooped and did a break of structure, came down, went back up again, made a fair value gap, and made a fair value gap right here. This would have been an actual break of structure, but I had my break of structure level up here. Because I think this was a 3 minute fair value gap that it inversed. So anyways, made a fair value gap right here, entered off of it, went up, made another fair value gap, and I was like, okay, at this point, it's probably gonna inverse this fair value gap right here. This was a 5 minute fair value gap, and it didn't do that. It inversed back to the downside, chopped up a lot, went back up, just consolidated, hit the. It was jumping a lot on the 5 minute fair value gap. So at that point, when it came down, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop at break even, and I did, because this is what happened after. Yeah. So that's that. Happens, but I didn't lose. I broke even. Um, that's that, and that's Wednesday. So Thursday, did I even take a trade on Thursday? Yeah, I did, and I lost. Um, okay, this is Thursday. I marked out a 4 hour fair value gap right here. It tapped it. I think it was to the downside. It was a bearish 4 hour fair value gap. It tapped it, went down, and on pre-market I had levels. Key level. Where's 6 a.m. Alright, so this would have been the high right here. This would have been the low, or this would have been the low, because I entered on, like I got on the charts at 8 around right here. So this would have been the low. This would have been the high, or this would have been high somewhere around here. And on market open, it actually inversed the 4 hour bearish fair value gap. It actually inversed it, and I'm also kind of ass at knowing when a 4 hour or 1 hour fair value gap gets hit, because like usually on the 1 minute, they like it hits either in the middle or somewhere around here, and I don't know if it's valid. Like I don't know if it's a valid fair value gap that's already been hit or the move has already been done. So I was kind of confused there, and I was looking for long shorts because I was like, oh, it hit a bearish fair value gap, and it's entering it again. So I'm just gonna go short, and this is gonna be an easy trade. Um, so anyways, sweep buy side liquidity. I think I was looking for longs, no, for shorts, right? Yeah, like this would also have been a like I would have noticed this would like this is also a A+ setup for long because it already hit the 4 hour fair value gap to the downside and already made its move. I'm just ass at knowing when the move is done or not, and I need practice that. So, anyways, it already made his move. So I should have been looking for longs. Because it came down, swooped buy side, sell side liquidity, made a rejection block right here. If I go on the 5 minute, which I can't, I guarantee you this would have been a 5 minute rejection block. Came up, sweep buy side liquidity about right here. This would have been a break of structure, or this somewhere around here would have been a break of structure, and I would have entered off of here, somewhere around this range. Um, and then I would have entered because I wouldn't have known it was gonna inverse the fair value gap, which it did, but it came back up and inversed it anyways, and then just skyrocketed. That would have been easy and long, but I didn't take that. I went for shorts, so it happens. When I went for shorts, it also looks the exact same. I was waiting for buy side liquidity sweep, and I marked it out here, but it didn't do anything after the sweep. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait. Sweep buy side liquidity right here though came down, big move down. Sweep sell side liquidity, and then made a fair value gap around right here. This would have been a market structure shift because it inversed the fair value gap. Um, and I entered off of it instead of waiting for a retrace into the fair value gap because uh this was a running bearish move, and it started making a bunch of fair value gaps to the downside. I was like, I don't think it's gonna retrace. I think if I just enter, it might retrace at some point, but that once it retraces, it's gonna just bounce off that fair value gap and go down. I should have, as like sticking to my rules, which is wait for the retrace. If I'm not confident, I wasn't that confident, but I was confident in this trade, and I didn't wait for a retrace. So what happened was it inversed my like safety net, which is the fair value gaps, inversed it after coming back up and just shooting up. So I should have as like I should have and it went down like it actually almost hit TP. It just made an bullish SMT and went up. And I think NQ was going down while ES was going up. So for all these days, for at least the trades that I've talked about up until now, they were both moving like two different ways. And I actually marked both ES and NQ with my setup. I saw both of my setups at the same time on NQ and ES, and I marked them out. NQ would hit my TP, ES would be either consolidating or going the opposite direction. And then once NQ reverses away from my bias, ES would follow. Like ES would be waiting for NQ to reverse against my bias and then go and stop me out. So I feel like it was just a shit week for ES, if I'm being honest. Cause my set is yeah, like I made mistakes. I didn't stick to my rules a little, but overall, like it could have been worse. Like I could have been dead wrong and just done stupid shit. So, anyways, I lost that. So that would have been that's another 150 that I lost, but it's okay. And then it just shot up. Did it clear all time highs? No. So, anyways, which day was this? That was Thursday. Yeah, that was Thursday. This is Friday. If it looks messy as hell. Um, rightfully so. At the moment I was actually, you know, thinking through a lot of stuff because there was a lot of confluences on the board, like on the 4 hour, on the 1 hour, on the 15 minute. So I was just marking everything, and seeing if price reacted to any of them, um, even during my trade. And I actually won this trade. So, um, you guys might be familiar with AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Um, I don't really use it that much unless it's actually clear. Well, it's also confluence. Like it's a toolbox. Like think of trading as basically you're using everything to your knowledge to be confident enough in your observation of the chart to know where it will go, and then you enter a trade. And it's basically like your confluences are what give you confidence in entering the trade. And the more you have, or the more quality of those confluences that you believe, like trust. If you have like good confluences, I'm not making sense right now, but if you have good confluences and you have confidence in all of your confluences up until the point that you press like sell or buy, it can go either way. It's just you have to trust yourself. So I usually when I trade, I have a lot of knowledge of like I know stuff. So I'm actively thinking about, AMD, fair value gaps, inverse fair value gaps, order blocks, um, liquidity sweeps, and stuff like that. Anything to like hint or give me confidence in my bias, basically. And looking at like daily 4 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute biases and stuff like that. So, anyways, um, I actually used AMD and in pre-market. This like I switched over to the 15-minute. Okay, this is the one that I can actually switch time frames on. Um, where is the 4 hour? So this was the 4 hour on Friday. I got on the charts around here. Marked out my 4 hour high, 4 hour low, and price was actually in between around here. And I marked out my equilibrium. It didn't sweep low or high yet. And there was a bearish 4 hour fair value gap right here. So I had that marked, and it also tapped it. So I was like, you know what? For once this week, let me trust this fair value gap, even if it's already tapped into it. Whatever. Like this is what I mean. It already tapped into the fair value gap, bullish. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. I don't care if it inverses this. For once in my life, I'm gonna trust this 4 hour fair value gap, even if it's already been tapped into, even if it didn't work the other times, whatever. I'm gonna trust it. So yeah, I it got tapped. It was jumping around right here. So I was like, you know what? This could either go two ways. Either it goes higher but stays in the range of the 4 hour fair value gap, sweeps the 4 hour high, and then dumps, which means that would be an A plus setup for my model, or it just dumps straight away. So this is where the equilibrium line comes into play, where it's like, okay, if it's staying under the equilibrium line, which is the middle range of the 4 hour high or 4 hour low, it might just dump straight down. Like, so I think it was jumping below the equilibrium. We can go on the 1 minute and we can check. And yeah, I was like, you know what? That's one confluence right there. And I had, and this, like, I had these marked out, as you can see. Um, and as you can see, like, I entered a little below the 4 hour previous low sweep, but I still hit TP. So I think there was a 1 hour, 1 hour what? 1 hour what? Okay, nothing much. I'm just checking. Okay, 15-minute. This is where you can see the AMD clearly. I have it marked out in boxes. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna just color code them. Uh, I have it marked out to M. This is A, M, D. So let me actually color it like orange. Orange. E. blue, and then let's make this red, just because why not? Okay, so this was accumulation right here. It consolidated, couldn't break out of this range in pre-market. This was actually, I think, Asia session where it was just cutting up. So yeah, waited, didn't even enter the 4 hour fair value gap. So this was accumulation. Manipulation is where it actually did jump up, but that was only because it was retracing into a 4 hour fair value gap. So that was the manipulation. Trapped a lot of buyers. And then after it did the manipulation, pre-market it started dumping, and right here, um, on 9:30 a.m. I was waiting for a setup. I could have also like just waited for my 10 to 8 11 a.m. um golden range, and I still would have hit TP. Oh, I didn't even go short. I went bullish. Oh, I did take a trade. I didn't take a trade in nine a market open. I took a trade in my golden range for a reversal. I was looking for a reversal to the upside, a bullish reversal. Oh, because I thought like you wouldn't see this like on market open. You wouldn't see any of that. I saw only the move down on pre-market, and I was like, okay, that's the AMD move, and it's not going lower than that because it already tapped into the fair value gap on market open, and this was the move down. So I didn't think it was actually going lower than that. On market open, it actually did go down, and I just waited for it to inverse. So okay, yeah, okay, I understand now. I remember. So anyways, where the fuck is my shit, man? Okay, like look at this whole move. I was looking at this move right here. I thought this was the bearish move down after tapping to a fair value gap, but then it started dumping again, and I took two trades. Yo, I don't remember shit. What the fuck? Hold up. This is a bad trade recap video. Cause I'm thinking, bro. I took one trade. I took two. What the fuck? I took two. Okay. Oh, I did take a trade. I did take a trade on the move down. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did. I did because my setup showed up. Yeah. And it was already bearish, and it started accumulating. And it also did a manipulation and then just okay. This was a smaller AMD that happened on market open. This is accumulation right here. I'm not gonna highlight it, but this is accumulation, manipulation, sweep the top, BSL, and then distribution. Okay. I'm an idiot. I took two trades. Okay. I think I was looking for longs right here. That's why I had the BOS marked out just in case. I was like, okay, if it goes any higher, um, for this 4 hour high, that the only way it would do that is to inverse this 5 minute fair value gap to the downside, which it didn't do that. I just had it marked out just in case. Because I didn't actually take a trade on market open. I took it down a little, like 9:46. So once it started dumping right here, I had the buy side liquidity marked out. This would have been sell side liquidity, and then market structure shift would have been right here. Would have entered off of this fair value gap, and then boom. But I didn't do that. I was actually actively still looking for longs like a dumbass. So I was actually looking for longs. Um, sweep buy side liquidity on market open, but it didn't do that before it sweeps sell side. So I thought this was my setup to the upside to enter a long. Sweep sell side liquidity. This would it didn't make a rejection block, but it did sweep sell side liquidity. Went up. I had buy side liquidities right here and then BOS right here. That's what I had. That would have been my setup if it inversed this fair value gap. I would have entered and went long, but it didn't do that. So it went down, and as it was going down actively, if you were in the markets, this looked fast, like it was dumping straight, like lightning speed. So I was just waiting. I was just waiting for my setup. I was like, I'm not entering this trade. Yeah. And when it made this fair value gap, low key, I'm gonna be honest. Um, I got desperate. Emotion took over me a little bit because I was like, it's end of Friday. I need at least one win this week, like at least one. And emotions took over me, and I saw this downward movement, and I was like, you know what? I'm entering the trade, whatever. So I marked out the I marked out my discount zone, and I didn't even use it. I thought it was gonna um reverse and tap into a fair value gap up here before going down. It didn't do that. It just kept dumping. So after it made this long wick, Drake wick by the way, Drake candle, and then made a fair value gap, I was like, you know what? I'm entering off that shit. I don't give a fuck. So I entered off of it after it retraced up here into the fair value gap, entered, hit TP. So I was like, okay, yay. And I was like, you know what? After this long move down, it's about to hit my 10 to 11 a.m. golden range. I'm just going to wait for a reversal now. Like, I'm just going to look for a reversal. I don't care. Um, and also I had lows marked out right here. I was actively watching if it had enough momentum to clear previous lows, which it did. And I think I entered after it started going down here, and I was like, once it goes down here below this range, um, I'm just take where is it? Yeah, after it broke this low, I was like, yo, might as well just keep going lower, right? I mean, it looks like it's gonna keep going down and clear this low. That's why my TP was under that key liquidity sweep from where is it? Where the from right here. It's not showing, but it's liquidity. It's the liquidity area, key levels, and then I think there was a equal lows, which is swept. So I was just waiting for that, and I had lows marked out that it could potentially hit, but I didn't really need it. I had them down just to see if my setup pulls out after it's done with its whole dump move. Because it didn't have anywhere else to go, like any lower after it cleared these last two liquidity areas. Once it cleared that, it just made a very obvious and powerful rejection block. Um, and it was in my 10 a.m. range. For reversals, and I was just waiting for my setup. Sweep sell side liquidity down here. Sweep buy side liquidity up here. Break of structure up here. Made a fair value gap up here, but it also made a fair value gap right here. This was a big fair value gap, so I just waited for a retraced into that with this candle, entered, and then I actually got scared here a little, I'll be honest, but it closed inside the fair value gap, which means it didn't inverse it, and it was entering a rejection block. So I was like, you know what, easy money. And as it bounced up, hit TP, entered a 5 minute, um 5 minute fair value gap, and started dumping. So basically, I caught a quick reversal to the upside. Not really a reversal, just a quick retrace into a 5 minute fair value gap. But my setup showed up, and it was very high confluence, and it almost didn't hit TP. But this is why I love the 40-80 tick ratio, like 10-20 point tick ratio, because it works all the time. Like if my TP was any higher, I wouldn't have hit TP, and then it would have just fucking stopped me out. Um, yeah, and I probably would have exited the trade around right here. Oh, actually no, I would have exited the trade, and like if it didn't show anything to the upside by 11 a.m., I would have just entered out of the trade, exited out of the trade, and I would have made a little profit, but not TP. Um, so yeah. Oh, or once it made this down move and then came back up, I would have probably exited around right here. So after it started making this candle, I would have just exited off of that. and I would have had like what a $110 profit, but it luckily hit my TP right here, and yeah, dumped, dumped straight down. Whoa, how much points is that? What the fuck? Say I kept my short from when I entered, right? So like almost a 200 point dump down. Okay. But yeah, that's how my week went. Sorry if I didn't explain everything like clearly or anything, cuz I kind of forgot some of the stuff I did, so I was kind of rediscovering what I was doing. Like right here, I didn't know I took two trades. Um yeah, I thought I could only see this one trade. I didn't see this one that I took. But yeah, I took one short and one long on Friday. Um both hit TP, which means $600 profit on the day. And yeah, I basically gained back my losses because the other 2 days the other two losses that I had was I lost in total I think 300, right? 150 plus 150. Yeah. So I lost 300 and then I gained 300 back. So basically on the week I'm at the same spot I was the other week. So it doesn't yeah, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So I didn't gain anything this week. I didn't well I was losing stuff until today, Friday, and I didn't really lose anything. I just made everything back. Um yeah. So that was the whole week. It was a shit week if I'm being honest, cuz I'd never seen ES do some bullshit like that where it's moving the opposite direction to NQ. Like wait a second. I can switch into NQ right here. Hold up. I can look at NQ. You can see the bullshit that NQ was doing. Hold up. It's on the 15-minute. 1 minute. My bro, look at this bullshit, man. Okay. NQ and ES on Friday looked exactly the same, but on the other days it did not look exactly the same. I think that's why I kept losing, because I was trusting NQ a little too much, thinking NQ would actually drag ES to what how it was moving, which it didn't. Um, but yeah, I'll show you this day right here. Which one? This is Thursday. Like right here, look at this. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Yeah, you can see how ES and NQ were moving two different ways. Like NQ actually hit my TP. I saw my setup on NQ as you can see, and it actually did hit TP. Like my if I entered off of it, entered on NQ the same way I entered on ES, it would have hit my TP. So, it was just a matter of ES being a bitch and not doing, what NQ was doing. Cause clear buy side liquidity tapped into I think a 1 hour bearish fair value gap. Um Sweep sell side liquidity, clearest market structure shift. Um I would have probably entered off of it anyways because this was a running bearish move down. And yeah, I would have entered. It would have came down. My TP would have been down here somewhere. Uh, would have retraced into the fair value gap. This was a 3 minute or 5 minute fair value gap, and it would have went down and hit TP before jumping straight up. And I think from now on, um, I I usually take one trade 9:30 a.m. and if I'm feeling confident and price action is relatively good, and I see my setup twice, I would take one trade at 9:30 till 10, and then or if it overlaps a little after 10, and then I would look for a reversal from 10 to 11. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But if it does, I would have entered off of a long right here because it would have hit TP. And after it hit TP, I would have watched it a little for a second trade to see if anything happens if I see a reversal because usually my strategy is more like is strongest from 10 to 11, or at least from like close to 10 to like 11. Like that's the range where my model shows up like the clearest. Um and usually the only reason I take 9:30 trades, or from 9:30 to 10 a.m. trades, is because I usually see my setup is just I need to get better, or I'm quite good at knowing when it's a fake setup and when it's not a fake setup. So if like right here, this was not a fake setup for ES. Like it was not a bad setup for ES. It's the clearest A plus setup for my model. It just didn't happen because it was a bad week. Like ES was moving a different direction than NQ, and but I saw my setup. Like my setup works. Like right here, my setup showed up on NQ, and I still would have entered in ES because they both moved together, and I would have entered the trade either way, and it would have hit my TPU. It's just the fact that they were moving in different directions. If they were lined up, 100% I would have won this trade. Um, so it swept liquidity on pre-market, sweep buy side, sweep sell side, market structure shift plus fair value gap, dumped and retrace, and then would have hit TP. ES didn't do that. ES inversed all the fair value gaps that NQ didn't inverse. And boom. Yeah. It just happens. It just happens. So it is what it is. But yeah. And also there was a bearish SMT on ES. It didn't respect any of it at all. It was like, you know what, NQ, fuck you, I'm gonna move my own way. And it moved up. So that's that. But yeah. I yeah, the reason and also once I lose, if I lose one trade on the day, I'm not taking another trade that day. Like one loss, I'm done. But if I like even if I see my setup from 10 to 11, I'm not doing it cuz I'm not confident. Cuz if I take two trades and I win one and then I lose the other one, I'm still going to be up at least 200. Oh, let me do the math. Let me do the math real quick. I'm ass at math. So like I'm risking $150, right? And my TP's at 80 ticks, so 300. 2 to 1 ratio, right? I mean 300. 2 to 1 ratio. So if I win one trade, I'm gonna be up 300 on the day. And if I lose my second trade, I'm losing only 150, which means I'm still gonna be up 150 on the day in two trades, because I'm gonna lose one, but I'm making double what I risked, so I'm gonna have 300. And if I enter my second trade and I lose, I'm basically getting my money back, like break even at that point. I probably would have made $150, but it's still fine. Like it's not gonna be a bad day. Like I'm not gonna be in the negatives. And if I win both, I'm gonna be up 600. So it's not like my risk management is so good to the point where it's like, okay, even if I lose two trades, I'm still gonna be up money. I'm not gonna be down money. I'm just gonna be up less money. Like I'm doing the math. Like, okay, I risk 150, make 300, lose 150, which is my second trade. I'm still gonna be plus $150 on the day. If I lose both trades, like say I lose the first trade, that's my 150 gone. I'm gonna be like I lost money, and then if I take a second trade and I lose that, I'm gonna be down 300 on the day. That's why I don't take a trade if I lose my first trade, because I'm gonna be down 300. But if I win my first trade, the chances of me being in the negatives that day are like close to none. And you might be asking, well, why don't you have faith in yourself to win your second one even if you lose your first trade? Because there's a higher risk of me being negative on the day. If I lose money on my first trade, Even if I lose the second one, I'm negative on the day. But if I win my first trade and then I lose my second trade, I'm not gonna be negative on the day. So I'm chilling, you know? The math and the probability of certain stuff happening, I keep all of that to account. That's what your risk management should be. Like, you should be calculating your losses and how much you're willing to lose and the probability of stuff, because it's all probability at the end of the day. Like, your money is your money. It's just how much money are you willing to lose, and if you can manage your risk, because you're risking money. Like that's the name of the game. Money risk your money. And yeah, it's just like, you know how they say educated guesses and stuff like that. Like, you got to be calculated, like calculated risk, not dumb risk, calculated risk, because that's better than just losing money and not knowing why you lost it. Like, or not knowing how you lost it, or being mad at how much you lost. Because at least when you have calculated risk, you're like, okay, I lost it for this reason. I was willing to lose that much. My emotions are not going to get the better of me. And tomorrow's another day. So that's all it is. It's a game. It's a game. It's a game, and you gotta just. The game has no rules. It has no rules. The reason it has no rules, when a game doesn't have rules, it's because usually it doesn't need any rules, because you're not winning. You're not winning. That's the whole point. If a game doesn't have any rules, most likely it's a fucked up game where it doesn't care about you, and 90% of the time you're losing. So what's the point of having rules? But if you establish rules for yourself, and if the game is relying on the fact that, okay, we don't need any rules because this person doesn't have any rules of its own. It's a game that depends on your rules, not on, some made up rules about the game. It's what you set up and what works. I made absolutely no fucking sense. I'm just realizing it sounds like I'm talking from like I'm talking like gibberish, but I understand it. It's like, bro, you're your enemy in this game. There's nothing else. It's just you. So make rules for yourself, and you're gonna do better. But anyways, that was this week's trades. I didn't do any live like recording of my trades and my process and everything, because as I said, today has been, or this week has been absolutely crazy. This weekends are, I have a lot of work to do. And next week, and like the next 2 weeks are gonna be insane, because I have culminating to do next week, Monday, and on the days ahead, I have exams to do after that, and then I have graduation, and then it's summer break, and then after summer break, I'm going to college. So the 2 months of summer break, I'm gonna have a lot of time to live trade, stream it, and show out. But you know, you know, you got to sacrifice some time for that, and I can't get videos out. I'll try to get videos out next week. If I get any free time, I will be trading all week. You got to be disciplined for this shit. I'm gonna trade all week, every same time, same everything. I'm probably not gonna upload a recap video until maybe the weekend, which is when I have time to do this shit. Cause during the week I don't have time. And yeah, so yeah. But during the summer break, I'm not gonna be that busy. Um yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of free time, and I'll be focusing on trading. I'll stream it. I'll stream it And you know, when I'm streaming my I'm gonna it's gonna be live trading. Like I'm gonna stream it, and whoever pops in could see it. Whoever doesn't. And if you pop up, you can check everything. Copy trading, I feel like this is my view on copy trading. Um, it's not like you're putting the same amount of effort to copy somebody than do like learning the skill yourself and doing it yourself, which I feel is more easier than copy trading because it's like if you win, okay, like you made easy money, but your whole system relies on somebody else. And if you lose, you're losing because of somebody else. It's like cheating on an exam or a test at school. Like you can copy off your friend, but it's like they could also get shit wrong, and that in turn, like you could you like it could fuck you up too. It's a double edged sword. Like you could copy trade, yeah, but then like you're also hurting yourself. And it's also like if you have to understand trading to a level, or at least to a basic level, to even copy trade. Like I feel like if you're just buying and selling on their key levels, like you're that's gambling right there because you don't understand shit about trading. And like I don't recommend that shit. I don't like cause why? You're putting the same amount of time. You're waking up the same amount of at the same time as your favorite streamer that's trading, and you're copy trading them. Like why not learn the skill yourself, and you could be doing it yourself. And if you lose, the only person you have to blame is yourself, not somebody else, and saying, well, I copy trade and this guy made me lose. Blah blah blah. It's like, bro, just learn the shit yourself. It's not reliable to just copy trade somebody. Like it's not good. So if you're gonna copy trade me, I honestly like I'm telling you right now, and I'm looking at you, bro. If you're gonna copy trade me, I'm pretty sure you're gonna pick up on everything I'm saying, and you're gonna learn my model without even trying to learn it. Like that's how easy my model is. Like the only shit you need to know is liquidity sweeps, micro liquidity sweeps, like understanding highs and lows, fair value gaps, inverse fair value gaps, and that's it. That's like the basic. I'm just gonna quickly say it. Like the basic. Let me draw it. The basic the basic model. I'll make a video during summer break or whatever, like this summer, someday soon, of my strategy. But it's like, bro, the basics of my strategy you will pick up, like even if you copy trade, without even trying to learn it. Like, look, this is pre-market. Like, imagine this is pre-market, right? And then as pre-market opens, it's like, okay, goes up. This is that move up, okay, and then wait, I messed up. Hold up. Fuck that. Like say this pre-market, blah 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 blah. Okay, as pre-market happens, okay, it does this shit, and then it starts going up, up, boom, and then does this. Yo, this is a bad drawing. Hold up. I'm just gonna do this. Fuck. I'm trying to make a point. Okay. Okay. This is sell side liquidity. Whoops. Sell side liquidity right there. Buy side liquidity right there. BOS right there. Sell side, buy side, BOS. That's all it is. Now I'm gonna draw it. Like Like, imagine this is the trend. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. Hold up. Yo, I think I'm ass. I can't draw. I can't draw for shit. Hold up. No, 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 no. I'm gonna draw this right. You're gonna sit here and watch me try to draw this. Boom, 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 boom. This looks absolutely dog shit. But basically, my point is, this is a lower high, sweeps the lower high, goes up, sweeps the micro high that it made before going up, and then making a big move up, which is your breakup structure, if it makes a fair value gap. If it doesn't make a fair value gap and it still keeps going up, you should not enter that trade, even if it's still going up, because it doesn't fit the criteria of my model. So that's basically what it looks like. And it's the same thing down. Like, it's the same thing down. It's like, okay, whoops. It's the exact same thing down. It's like, boom, buy side, sell side, MSS. Like, that's all it is. I swear to God, that's all it is. It's not that hard. And if you get better at it, you can see this shit like easy. Easy on the charts. It's so easy. I can pull out like 5 on market open. I mean on pre-market. I could actually tell you on each reversal. Like this shit actually works. And it's like boom, look. Um it's on an uptrend, on an uptrend, on an uptrend, sweeps the last high, comes down, sweeps the last micro low, comes down, makes a fair value gap, bearish fair value gap, enters a fair value gap, and then keeps going down. That's literally all it looks like. Hold up. That's all it looks like. 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 Like, look, I can show you right here, bro. You don't trust me? Look, look, look. I'll show. I'll show it to you right here. I'll show it to you right here. This is the upside. Okay. This is our bullish. This is our bullish run up, right? I'll actually show um the reversal to the upside after this downside. Look, what is this? Can anyone tell me what this is? This is a sell side sweep. I count this as a sell side sweep because of this big move up. This is basically a reversal. And this is also a rejection block. So that's sell side liquidity sweep. This is buy side liquidity sweep. And guess what? This is market structure. Well, market structure shift is actually around right here because this is it inverse this fair value gap. It's around right there. And it did make a fair value gap. Like that's all it is. That's all it is. Ooh, BOS. This is a break of structure. Hold up, no man. Sell side and buy side liquidity. Okay, boom, boom, boom. This is a 3-minute fair value gap. Boom, boom, boom. Guess where the fair value gap is on our break of structure? It didn't actually go back and tap it until right here, but you would have still entered off of this, and guess what? It wouldn't. This is not a 20-point move. I don't think. Is it a 20-point move? It is a 20-point move. Wow. So you would have hit TP anyways. Boom. Boom. It's easy as that. It's easy. And that you see you would have hit. This is your setup. Caught the trend up. Boom. Right here. This would have been your short. And I can show you. This is the easiest shit. This is a liquidity sweep. But this could also be used as a sell side liquidity sweep. I also count this as a sell side because it's sweeping a key high before move down. It didn't go and sweep that, and it also made a bearish SMT. That's another like you can use your whole toolbox on this. But the main thing is it has to sweep liquidity before going a certain way. So it sweeps sell side liquidity. This is also a liquidity sweep. Um, we don't count this as this doesn't work because if this sweep this candle, then that would have been a move down, and that's also a setup for a rejection block because when it does that, it sweeps highs and then it doesn't close above that high. That's also a rejection block, so you could use that as a confluence. Um, so does that, comes down, sweeps sell side liquidity, boom, and then it makes a MSS right here. This is a 3 minute fair value gap. I hope you know. Like I can already tell. 1, 2, 3. That's a bearish candle. This is 1, 2, 3. Bearish candle right here. 1, 2, 3. Bearish candle right here. 1, 2, 3. Bearish candle, and it made a fair value gap right here, but it's a running thing down. So you would have entered off of it anyways. Most of the time it retraces into a fair value gap, but these are such big moves down that you could enter off of just seeing how much momentum it has to the downside. So you would have probably entered, I would have probably entered around right here, right here, boom, and then this short, boom. There you go. Like it's easy at that. It's easy as that. Usually you want to enter off of the market structure shift key level, but you could enter anything lower than that as long as you don't miss the big move down, and then boom, TP. I can show it to you again. Look, I can see it up here. Okay, well, not up here. Up here. This is the start of the move down. Look at this. This is the move up. Liquidity sweep. This is a move up right here, because it made a low. Came down, came down, came down. I could. This is not valid, by the way. This is not valid. You cannot. I wouldn't take a trade if it did some bullshit like this for to the upside. You need to hit all three criteria. There's only 3 rules. You gotta trust all 3. Okay, this is a liquidity sweep. There's a sell side liquidity, buy side liquidity sweep, sell side liquidity sweep, and a market structure shift about right here. Boom. Buy side, sell side. I'll go into depth on the video of my model, like more in depth about this buy side and sell side, or the sell side and buy side after like say the first buy side or sell side liquidity sweep, and then the second one. I'll talk more in depth of how you can tell if it's a micro sweep or whatever, blah blah blah. I can just see it because I've done it so many times, but I'll explain it in a later video of my model. This is market structure shift, boom, fair value gap right here, boom. This is also fair value gap. But anyways, retrace into it, you would have added your thingy, boom. I wouldn't have put it up there. I would have put it like right here. And I usually put my shit on the 0.6 level just cause, well, why not? And you would have entered right, where's the 0.6? Well, you would have entered right here. And then boom. And it actually did retrace up here. So if you wanted to be more safe, you would not have entered off of this fair value gap, because this fair value gap can get easily inverse because price usually wants to go to the first fair value gap it made, which is this one, and that's more of a high confluence than just the one below it. So if you didn't want to enter off of this, you could have just waited for a retrace. Usually the only reason I enter off of that, of like a second fair value gap, is because I know, like, okay, price wants to go and retrace back to the first fair value gap, and usually doesn't inverse the first fair value gap. It inverses the ones before it, because it wants to get back up to those orders and fill those orders. So I use it as like a safety net, like a shield basically, in front of my stop loss. That's basically what I would do here. I would have entered off of here. It would have kept going up, and I would have been like, you know what? Do it. Do it, bro. Go and hit the shield. You're going to bounce right back down. Because especially when it's a move like this where it doesn't make any fair value gaps on this bull run, I'm like, you don't even have momentum to go up. You're gonna bounce off the fair value gap. And you see how it slows down, price slows down as it gets to the fair value gap, and it can't push back. And then it just dumps. And it makes more bearish fair value gaps. And once it does this, you don't even need to be worried about not getting your stop loss TP hit. Because it's adding so much resistance back to the upside that like price would need some sort of like boost, like flash behind it to push it back up, because it has to inverse all of this fair value gaps to the downside. Like, look at this, and you would hit TP. So that's that. Easy as that. That's how you do my model. I'll go more into depth. You can't understand this just by the fucking drawings I'm doing. You gotta actually like understand the model and which ones are not fake outs and which ones are fake outs. I'll just note like the only way to like be 90% sure it's a fake out is if it doesn't go 3 for 3 on the model. Like if it doesn't do a sell side liquidity sweep, like say if you're looking for longs, if it doesn't do a sell side liquidity sweep, then a buy side liquidity sweep, then a BOS followed, and on the BOS it makes a fair value gap and retraces, then it doesn't have to retrace, but it would be more like it would be better if it retraces. But if it makes a fair value gap, but it doesn't retrace, just enter off of that shit, bro. Because it's hinting at a very strong move upward. So it hits all 3 criteria, makes a fair value gap on the break BOS to the upside. You enter, you're hitting TP. And if you're bearish, if it doesn't fit the criteria, if it doesn't do a buy side liquidity sweep and then a sell side liquidity sweep and then a market structure shift plus a fair value gap, it doesn't have to retrace, but you should wait for a retrace because that's the more safe way to play my model. Then you're good. Just enter it. And you're 60%, 75, I'm 75% sure you're hitting your TP. Fuck it, 100% sure. What? My win rate right now is 68%. It was at close to 80, but that was with a lower data batch, like lower trades. Like I didn't start logging my trades, but I've won a lot before I started logging it. So right now it's the official percentage with 23 trades, 24 trades. I need to do at least like 100 trades before I can actually like, okay, this is a profitable model. If I keep the 68%, between 65 to 75% win rate after 100 trades, model is absolutely profitable. So, and also this is just a basic model. Like this is not counting rejection blocks, AMD. This is not counting major liquidity sweeps or the 4-hour high or 4-hour low. The 4-hour high and low, that's just marking out the range and the likelihood of a reversal. That's it. Because it's marking out the London lows or Asia lows and Asia highs or something like that. Basically the key highs and lows of pre-market that price usually wants to sweep before showing a big move to a direction. Like that's how I see it in my head. So that's a big confluence. Like if it sweeps a 4-hour previous high and then shows my setup, like say it's going up right on market open. This is market open. I have a 4-hour high about right here, or a 4-hour low right here. Say this is the 4-hour low, and this is the 4-hour high up here. Price usually wants to go up to the level that's far away. Like it would first sweep the 4-hour level that's closest to it, and then start running to the one that's far away. At least that's what I've seen from my trades. So like if this is the 4-hour low, it would most likely sweep that 4-hour low, and then you could see the first criteria of my model, which is the sell side liquidity sweep, and then it would start going up. The buy side liquidity sweep is just like a confluence. It's a mini confluence. It's like, okay, it still wants to push up. and you basically, like, if it shows a strong move up while when sweeping the buy side liquidity, you're like, okay, it has a lot of momentum to the upside. And then uh the BOS is the major thing. It's like, okay, if it now it's likely to make a fair value gap if it's swept with good enough force from the buy side liquidity. And once it does that, then you have confluences that's going to shoot up. And then it's the same thing for shorts. Like, okay, pretend this is my 4 hour low. I mean 4 hour high, and this is my 4 hour low, or right here somewhere, 4 hour low. It would most likely go and sweep the 4 hour high to make a buy side liquidity sweep key, like level for you to mark out, and then it would come down, sweep the sell side liquidity, micro sell side, show that it has momentum to the downside, and then your market structure shift is like the alarm. Like, once it makes the fair value gap, sweeping the market structure shift, you just enter off the retrace, or enter if it's a running trend downwards or a running fair value gap, and boom, it's gonna go and target that 4 hour low, or if you're bullish, the 4 hour high. Yeah, most this is what I've seen that happens most of the time. Sometimes it doesn't do that. Sometimes it does some bullshit where um it runs past the level that it wants to sweep. Like, for example, right here, if I wanted to go long, this would be a terrible one because it's running past. It's not entering back into the range. It's actually going down. Like once it starts running like this, past the key level without retracing into the range, that just means, bro, I don't price does not want to go back up, or it won't go back up until a very long time. So you might as well start looking for um a switcher bias into the way that's going, and then look for a setup on there. Like, right here, I was looking for longs, and then I was like, okay, it's going sell side liquidity. Now I want this to retrace back into the range and start moving up to this 4 hour high, which it's not doing. It's going down. It's going more down. So at this point, I was looking for shorts. I was like, you know what? It's dumping, and it's showing a lot of momentum to the downside. Fuck this 4 hour low and blah blah blah. This 4 hour low is not being respected as much. This range is not being respected, which means it wants to make a new range. So it's just dumping, and then you would just enter off of that, like, or up here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Like, up here. Look at this. I think the 4 hour high was somewhere around here. This would be the 4 hour high. This would be the 4 hour high somewhere here, and this would be the 4 hour low. It swept the 4 hour high. I was looking for shorts because I was like, okay, it swept the 4 hour high. It's not really showing, like, it came back into the range right here. It swept 4 hour high, came back into the range, showed my setup, but it just didn't have enough momentum to go down. Again, I said NQ hit my TP here. So my idea wasn't fully wrong. It's just ES didn't want to do the same shit. Um yeah. And then it just shot back up and wanted to make a new range. So I would say 80%, 85% of the time it does what I'm talking about, which is where it sweeps a key 4 hour level and then retraces back into the range and starts aiming for the other key level that it didn't hit, or the one that's farther away, like either the low or high. But usually there could be cases where it does this bullshit where it's just running away from the range. And when it's running away from the range, forget about it retracing back. Because at that point, you should just be looking for the direction out of which it's running, and look for a setup, like a high confluence setup. Or just wait for a reversal, if I'm being honest. Wait for a reversal. But over here, if you were looking for a reversal, these are all 20-point moves down. So you could have looked for a reversal and you would have hit TP if you were looking for 20 points TP. If you're looking at anything past that, don't look for a reversal, a 30-point reversal or whatever, especially with momentum like this. Look for 15 to 20-point reversals. That's it. That's basically my trading. Okay, I went like a little bit in depth about my model, but I know nobody understood that or what I'm talking about because I didn't actually mention a bunch of stuff that you need to know. So I'm gonna try to make a video of my model someday, soon, just not right now. But I will be explaining in bits and pieces, and you might pick up on what I'm thinking and my model just without me even explaining how to do it, because you're gonna see it a bunch of times. But yeah, this is a 1 hour and 25 minute fucking video. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I gotta end this. Okay, I hope you guys had a great trading week. I didn't, and it wasn't that bad, but I hope you guys hit TP. If you didn't, all good. I'm right here. I didn't hit TP. I'm showing you my losses and my break evens and blah 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 and my thinking throughout the whole thing. I was wrong a bunch of times this week. It's all good. It happens. And you just learn from that shit. Like I learned a lot going back and seeing where I went wrong. And at this point you just get better. Cause now you have the information of that shit happening and you're like, okay, that's what happened. This, if I see it next time, I'm gonna be a little more cautious. I'm not gonna be stupid and enter the trade, even if like just off hopes and dreams, because I went through it before. I've played these games before. It's like shit like that. So it's all good. It's all good if you lose. Just keep trying. You're gonna hit. You're gonna do good. You're gonna get better. You can't get better without sacrifices. You can't get better without some losses. You gotta see everything. You gotta see the losses. You gotta see the wins. You gotta see how you lost. Because there's only so much ways you can lose in this game. And if you know how you usually lose and how the charts move against you, you can counteract that. So, just try. Don't give up. That's the main thing. Don't give up. Yeah. And if you lose, yo, pull up to my channel. I'm going to make a recap video and you're going to see me lose. I'm going to be recapping a loss and you're going to be like, "Oh, well, I'm not a fucking idiot. He also lost. There's other people that lose with me. It's all good. We either win or we lose together. That's it. So keep trying." Yeah. All right. Peace.